I'm so tired of these movies with these women in charge. Where?
Every single movie now, all these shows are just, it's a recreation of something that was in the 80s. They just recreate because no one's having any real ideas anymore.
Like, where does that come from? Like, why?
I think that there's a bigger agenda at play. Like, if you believing in God and having a higher power in your life, but like believing in something bigger than you, makes you more powerful and makes you more happy. But if you have the masses plugged into like celebrity worship, if they're watching garbage content, if there's no art, if everything's soulless, if everybody's always polarized and arguing, everyone's yelling at each other, and if we're like watching Satan on TV, then we are going to be dumber. We're going to be easily controlled. They're doing well right now. They're winning the culture war. On the right, everybody wants to be the idol, wants to be the person with all the influence, and so we end up fighting each other and going back and forth about who we should look up to.
Yeah, but the problem with the right is some of them, it's like undercover feminism for a lot of them, but they don't know it.
If you have to go out of your way to be a man and everything is telling you that it's the wrong thing to do, then why not just put on some makeup and give up?
And even like being in sports, you know, that's like a typically like male dominated, like, you know, men are better at sports, right? And
really? No.
Well, now we got the in our leagues.
Oh, no.
Get them out.
They're destroying
Get them out.
Good thing you got out of volleyball now. You'd be destroyed by Dylan Mulvaney.
What up, guys? Welcome to the Just Pearly Things YouTube channel, and welcome to the Sit Down Part 2. Welcome, Sneako, back to the channel.
In London.
You had, what, 2 million YouTube subscribers?
I think I right now, if I had it, I would have around 6 million. If I was
6.
still on, I think it would be 6 million, and it's too bad.
And your views were just crazy at the time.
Yeah, it skyrocketed a lot. It was I had 1 million, and then I started streaming, and then my second channel was just about 1 million, and then I got terminated.
And what I respect about you is you were on YouTube for literally, what, 10, 15 years? Like
10 years.
10?
Well, I had other channels when I was younger, but it was 10 years on that same Sneako channel. And yeah, it's too bad. I've been reposting some of the videos on Twitter. You guys could follow me there at Sneako on Twitter, and I've been reposting some of my favorite videos, my artistic videos. It's fun seeing your studio here and how you have all these systems set up and how you're creating more content. There's bringing new editors and more people here. I'm in a phase where I'm trying to shift away from that a little bit. I like being guests on other people's shows, but I think it's time to bring real art back. And that's what that's like what my core fans, that's what they really love my videos for, was that artistic stuff that separated me from other YouTubers. And then I got really into the streaming, which I love streaming, but I started doing, I made this video in 2019 called Quality Over Quantity. And in that video, I talked about how I would never want to make 8 reaction videos a day and how that's spamming it. But then I started doing that. Yeah, I would stream and then just react to videos and upload it. But it was just making so much money, and there was so much growth after being what I thought that I was put in this box where it was like every YouTuber's favorite YouTuber. And then part of the reason why I started live streaming was seeing people react to my videos that I spent a lot of time on, and they would get more viewers and they would make more money reacting to it. And I spent a month making something, and they could just like, this is like an incel in 5 minutes, and they could just, it polarizes you. It forces you into a box. So I was like, I could do that better than them.
Yeah, and I loved your interviews. That's actually where I first found you, was your street interviews that you used to do with your commentary on the side. I don't know. I think what's really unique about you is you really do everything. Like you can react, you can do interviews, you can do the artistic pieces.
Yeah, I just love making content, but I want to transcend now. I've been banned, so it was interesting seeing you approach to show me around the whole studio, and you want to create more systems and create more shows. And I was thinking in my head, like, ready to move on to the next thing. I'm ready to transcend and try to make some higher form. There's not a lot of art anymore. When's the last time you watched a movie?
I don't remember.
When's the last time you watched a show?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
Yeah.
I just watch like podcast clips. I just watch stuff like I'm on Twitter. But there's no good, and even the movies that people talk about, they talk about the Mario movie. Everything.
Woke. Half the movies are woke nowadays.
It's just
anyway.
Peach. It's Princess Peach, and she's a girl boss. I didn't watch it, but like I see her, she's running around.
Oh my God, I'm so tired of these. I'm sorry, there are not that many women bosses. I'm so tired of these movies with these women in charge. Where?
Peach was getting saved in a castle by Bowser for 30 years, and then she gets in a Mario movie, and now she's there like in charge, jumping over cliffs and stomping on Goombas. It's like every single movie now, all these shows are just, it's a recreation of something that was in the 80s. They just recreate because no one's having any real ideas anymore. I think it's the fault of social media, everyone having to follow this specific agenda, people not wanting to take risk or get called. So there's a real demand for art right now. So I want to take that. I want to take that position.
I didn't ever think about that. That's so interesting.
Art sucks.
Yeah,
art sucks.
There's not like original content.
Nothing. Everything is a recreation of something from the 80s or for the 70s. Like, I can't even think of the last fresh movie to come out. Like, the culturally impactful movies that came out, like with Joker, and that's a spin-off of Batman, which we see a new Batman movie every year. Mm-hmm. Joker was like the most culturally impactful movie, but to my head, nothing. What won the Oscar? I don't know. Remember when that mattered? Now nobody even believes in award shows anymore. No one cares about the Grammys. You can steal $950 worth of items from a Walgreens in New York, and they can't call the police. Like, you can just steal. That's why I left New York. I was just waiting in line like a bot. And everyone's like, just, okay, here's my cough syrup. And then I thought that he was working at the Walgreens. He has all these crates, and he's just putting all the beer into the crates. And I'm like, oh, he works there. Like, oh, good, employee. And then he takes it, and it's like, where is he pushing this? And he just walks out the door. And security's standing there like, okay. And I'm like, holding my stuff. Like, I'm such a bot. I'm like, should I steal too?
Yeah.
But I didn't. And I asked the cashier, like, why don't you do anything? It's like, it's under $950. We can't call the police.
Why?
So you can just steal, and you're not a criminal. There's no way that this is going to end up well. Mm-hmm. Or we just tolerate it and we allow this to happen. But you see that and you're like, why am I here? You were asking me about Japan. Japan is a place where you don't even litter. You don't even want to play music on the train. You don't want to like disrupt other people. You don't like. I noticed my pants were sagging a little bit by accident. I'd pull them up because I didn't want to upset the grandma near here. Mm-hmm. I have tattoos on my arms and I would cover them because I don't want to. Mm-hmm. That even tattoos is degenerate in Japan. You don't want to contribute to any of that. You want to contribute to the peace and to how everybody's respectful. Mm-hmm. Everybody wants you to enjoy life as well. There's no polarization in Japan. There's none of that, like people looking at each other weird, mean mugging each other. After seeing what's possible outside, I don't understand like why you would invest more time into being in these places.
It's hard. I just miss my family, and my family's in Chicago. I don't know. It's possible I could move somewhere else, but it's like, I would go to Dubai or something, and now I'm up 20 hours from my family.
Right.
How do you, where do you go when it's like you're starting over in a brand new place knowing nobody? And it's hard because I have 9 siblings. Mm-hmm. And I'm just close with them.
I'll make a lot of money, move them all out, get them all out of there.
Oh gosh, maybe I'll try.
Do you want to hear so you're getting in trouble for the repeal of the 19th. Do you want to hear
your most controversial,
new controversial take? Okay. Dubai works because there is Arab supremacy.
And that's the one thing, like I grew up with like nannies from around the world, and like Americans have this lack of respect for other cultures where they don't feel like they need to immigrate like into the culture.
Assimilate.
Assimilate, yeah, into the culture. So if they go somewhere, they feel like the culture should appease them. When it's like, no, you're like when I went to, I can't remember where it was, Hyderabad maybe or something. So I just remember somewhere I had to wear to go in the temple. Like people would say that's misogynistic or sexist or whatever, but it's like
it's disrespectful.
You're going to their culture.
So respect it. Yeah, everybody in America, when these westernized societies, everyone's like, they're not proud of the place. People aren't proud of being American. The only people who are proud of being American are MAGA people, are the Trump supporters. Like they love the country. That's why I like Trump, is he loves America. I'm come from an immigrant family too, but I respect that he loves his country. Most of the people, all the people in the West, in New York and Chicago, LA, they hate America. Genuinely. They think that waving the American flag is like, these are the colonizers, this is racist, and it's a symbol of slavery. It's almost become the new Confederate flag, the American flag. Everybody latches on so hard, this is an American thing. Like, I'm 12% Irish, so St. Patrick's Day, Kiss me if you're not Irish. 5 generations of your family have been in America. You are American now. Any other place, you would just be of that country. But no, identity politics has been ingrained so hard into the West that they feel the need to latch onto something else because it's not cool in woke culture. It's not cool to be American. It's seen as bad. They hate capitalism. They think communism is good. They latch onto and so when you lose the identity of a place, I don't think it's worth living in. If there is no you can't really describe American culture now. What is it?
That's so true because everywhere. So if you go to California, it's very different from like Nebraska to Florida to New York. What do you think the future of America is? Like, what happens if I move to Chicago? What's gonna?
I think you might. It's just. Have you seen the videos of that?
Well, I live
Chicago?
in the suburbs, so I live like my parents live on 40 acres outside the city, so it's not.
Well, I like cities. I like busy. I like being around people. I like people, but I just like look at Chicago as a dump. It's complete. They just elected like a new communist governor in Illinois, or maybe the new mayor of Chicago is just a straight up communist. They're so brainwashed by racism and wokeness and how like it's okay if you steal. They're upset. That's why they're rioting. You need to understand the system of they are burning cars in the middle of the street. They've blocked down streets and they're lighting cars on fire. And you're going to say it's because they're displaced that this is justified. Is
that what they said?
They can't just say that this is degenerate behavior. Like this, they won't incriminate these people because they are programmed to think that it's racist to even criticize them. My prediction for the future of America, it's rapidly declining. It's going to exist, but I think soon it's not going to be the world power that it was. And America has pretty much been the world's police for a long time. And when you lose that grip on the world, like they just reduced the military requirements because people were too fat. We're so fat that they needed to make it easier to get in. They had a curve for your weight. You know when the teacher curves the score because everyone failed? Yeah. That's how bad we are with our fitness. Our military, and then you look at like they're training kids in China like at 10 years old. They're getting ready for war. In Russia, they don't have this same fat problem. We don't have that. The thing is specifically in the West. And
it's a big problem.
It's a problem.
It's a big problem.
The obesity problem, the homelessness is going up. More kids are on pharmaceutical drugs. I was on them. It's when people are... I don't see a bright future for America, unfortunately. And I do love America, like whatever is left of it. Some of that culture. I love the people that love America, but you have to put yourself first at some point. You know, I believe in America first, but I also believe in family first before that. So I wouldn't raise my family there.
So
hopefully.
where are you moving?
I like Florida is like was the last state, I think. I like.
Okay, wait.
Okay, but let me explain. Let me explain. Florida right now. Florida right now is the last.
Leave America except.
I didn't even finish. I didn't finish. Right now, Florida's okay because it's separated from that. It's still good weather. They're signing some good laws, but eventually it's not going to be a place long term. It's good for the next 10, 15 years, 20 years, something like that. Eventually, I don't know. That's why I'm traveling the world because I want to go and see where. It's worth setting up.
Tell me about your conversion.
I think that's the winning team. I mean, Ramadan is almost over, but I'm
going to be honest. I know very little, so I don't even know what Ramadan is. I've heard
it's about a month of fasting, and you have to be an extra good Muslim. You have to. It's mostly fasting, and then some people that you pray more. You make sure to not drink, or it just all the same rules are extra strict during Ramadan.
Oh,
so it's an extra connection
it's like
to
Lent.
Allah. Yeah, I would say it's similar to Lent.
Okay.
But I didn't. I mean, like right now, I'm not sure what the time is. You can eat and you could break fast while you're traveling, but I wasn't perfect. I wasn't perfect.
Okay. So when did you convert and why?
I converted in Dubai. I mean, I guess it was like a soft conversion, but I did say the words. All you have to do to convert to Islam is say, Muhammad is the prophet and Allah is the one true God, and then that's it. Okay. In other religions, there's all this stuff. You need years of all this. I said that. I went to the mosque. I prayed. Shout out to the sartorial shooter. He brought me to the mosque.
Do they not believe in Jesus?
No.
I'm sorry if these are dumb questions.
No, they're not dumb questions. Yeah. It's good to ask these. They do believe in Jesus. It's actually Islam and Christianity have a lot in common. I would say the major difference, and what I think is kind of weird. You grew up Catholic. There's some weird stuff in Catholicism. Like, no disrespect, but like the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. What the hell is the Holy Spirit? What is that? That we do the sign of the cross all the time. What's the Holy Spirit? And then you go up and you take your first communion and you're eating the body of Christ in a cracker. So is this cannibalism? Why am I eating a cracker? What part of the body of Jesus is this? Is this the toe part of Jesus am I eating? Is it the butt? Like, it's his body. You're drinking, and then kids are drinking wine. Kids are getting drunk.
No, it doesn't actually.
It's the blood. It's wine.
Yeah.
Why are we giving kids alcohol?
Okay, I don't.
And you're drinking Jesus' blood?
Yeah, but it's just a sip. It's
you're
a
little little satanic to be drinking a dude's blood, right?
Yeah, no.
But it's Jesus' blood. I don't know. It's just a little weird to me. But I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Catholicism.
I'm not. You're kind of reminding me how much of a bad Catholic I am because I don't even remember the answer to these questions.
I mean, that's what it is. You're eating crackers that are his body and you're drinking his blood.
There's more to it. It's like
that's what it is. I grew up Catholic. I almost got confirmed.
But it's like that's what Jesus did at the Last Supper. Is like take this.
Jesus ate his own body?
Yeah, sort of.
Weird.
I don't know if it was like...
What type of dude is eating his body?
I mean, well, I think that's...
And he's God at the same time?
That's where the Christians and the Catholics, like the Christians say, oh, that was just a symbol. I'm sorry. The Catholics are going to roast me. I'm a bad Catholic. I don't know what to tell you. But the Catholics believe like we actually, yeah.
Yeah, well, I grew up Catholic. I guess the hardcore, there's a lot of division there. But you know that in the Quran, they talk more about Jesus than Muhammad. Jesus is brought up all the time. He's not actually God, though. That's the difference in Catholicism, why it didn't really make sense to me, because how could you be a human and God? Catholics believe that Jesus is God and God is God, but they're the same, like Father, Son. It's like this weird... that doesn't make any sense to me, but in Islam, the reason that I converted is Allah is the one true God. That's the creator of the universe, the creator of everything. Jesus was there to spread his message. Muhammad was the prophet. And then we are all his people. We are all his creation. And that just makes the most sense to me. Because like, what's the best explanation for why the world exists? There must be a creator. But instead of like a human half body eating.
Yeah, that is a little confusing.
That's why I like it. It's just there's one creator. And also they're really strict and on their beliefs on masculinity and femininity. On the differences between men and women and our roles and what we should be doing. I went to the mosque and I was with... some well-respected people in the Islamic community. I don't want to say who. I was with them, and after the first time praying there, you get on the rug and you do all that. And I asked them when we were leaving, I'm like, why are there no women here? Like I never thought about them before. I was in the mosque and like I never noticed like there's no women here. And then I asked him that question. He looked at me like I was stupid. Like they're at home. They're cooking. Like why would they don't need to, they pray at home. They don't need to be here. It's the men's job to go out and provide and to go and but they're not, and I never even realized that they're not there because the division between men and women is extremely important, respected, and it's ingrained in the culture. But that's not the same in any of these other religions.
That's true. In a lot of Christian, and I would say in Catholic religions, the women are leading relationships.
They're in charge.
Yeah.
Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah. What's the other one? She wears the pants. I mean, I heard that all the time growing up. She wears the pants in a relationship. Like, there were so many couples that I can point to and say, yeah, that's...
And they'd be like, oh, she gotta ask the wife. She wears the pants. And they're, oh, yeah, the wife. It's just, ew, why?
Well, it's like in America, and I'll say, like, I think this definitely affected me. It's like men and women are kind of raised the same. And they don't really talk about our differences. And even like being in sports, that's like a typically like male dominated, like, men are better at sports, right? And
really? No.
Well, now we got in our leagues.
Oh, no.
Get them out.
They're destroying
Get them out.
Good thing you got out of volleyball. Now you'd be destroyed by Dylan Mulvaney. Actually, I think you could beat him up. I think you got him.
I actually rejoined the team after I told you I quit.
Hey.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, so we'll see. But what I realized is like a lot of times like the women in sports are a little bit more masculine because we're kind of like being trained and raised.
It's competitive,
athletic.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I realized. Like I think women, like we are happier when they push our differences. But the thing is in America, they act like we're exactly the same.
Why not do that? The big wake-up call was going to Japan and seeing, and you have to go. You have to go just to see how the women act because this is a big part of your show and I think it will give you a new perspective. The women there don't have a drop of testosterone in their body. Like they just the way that they smile, the way that they talk to you, how high-pitched their voice is. It's like, whoa. And it's just so nice. It's just so soothing and pleasant. Like you order something, oh, okay, sumi-san. And you're like, oh, and you just want to protect them. Just naturally, you feel more like a man because you want to protect and you want to provide for her. You just want to create that nice environment for this beautiful feminine woman. And then you realize there, like the amount of bullshit that you need to put up with these women in America and London, how combative they are and how hard it is for them to submit. Like it's not in their nature. Everything in the culture is steering them away from being feminine. It's like no, it's just the Cardi B thing. You need to be the tip top guy in order to make a woman submit. But women are happy to just do that in Japan. The way that they dress, they're just way more girly and not in like an overly sexual way. None of them have their cleavage out. They're always they're not showing too much like skin. They're dressed extremely girly with their dresses and their fingernails, and like some always walk around with cat ears because it's goofy. And you see there, like, why am I putting up with women who want to be men at the same time when you could just go to a different place and find an actually feminine woman? You understand why so many guys are just giving up.
Yeah.
You get it. Like, and even now the guys who are becoming women in the West, like they just want, you see the types of guys that they want, and they're like, yeah, I just need a stud. Like I need an ultra. They just want to get fucked. They just want someone else to take control. It's relinquishing control because it's so hard to be in control when it's a constant battle. But they want someone else to take control and just let the work, you know, I give up. It's just giving up. It's not feeling like a woman. It's just like, fuck, man.
No,
I hate this.
And I think it's even good for American women to see it because it gives us an example, which a lot of women in the West don't have. Like what feminine women examples do we have in media? What feminine, like even most...
Ariana Grande, I think is a pretty good example. Okay. There's very few. Wait.
I mean, I don't really get the. I don't know much about her.
There's very few. But the way she acts, she kind of acts and everything. Like she covers her wrist. She's like hee. Yeah. She kind of acts like that.
I just mean like women that are truly traditional with like traditional skills. We had a girl that taught an episode of Wife School. And she was like teaching me like cooking basically, right? And I was so inspired just being around her, to be just spending a day with her because she was just so like the most feminine woman I've ever met in my life. And I think that like in the West, a lot of times, especially people from single parent homes, they've never met someone like that.
And it's not all the women, it's not their fault either. A lot of the time it's the weak men. Like women can't be in their feminine nature if they're around a bunch of...
But why are the men weak?
Because the women are masculinized too. It's when you act like there's no division, when you separate the idea that we're different.
I have a different take.
What's your take?
So my take is it's the government because of the way that relationships are set up by the government. And I think that's why. So if me and you are in a contract, right? If we're married, right? And I get paid to walk away and you lose everything by walking away. You're always going to be trying to make me happy so I don't walk away. I think that influences relationships. And I think that's the shift where you see in relationships where women started like wearing the pants.
Yeah, we don't disagree, but there's many factors. Like that's a major factor. The music that we listen to.
The media.
It's everything. It's just Western culture. It's all of it. The separate, like not having any identity, people always arguing and the beliefs that we have. Everything is steering us in that direction.
So my other question too is you mentioned Japan. Why are the women still so unmarried and single there? I know it's a big problem. So it's like...
Is that a true stat? What are the stats on that?
I don't... You may look it up. I can.
Sure.
Okay. But it's like... There's a
lot of single women in Japan?
Yeah, and
I heard that. I didn't see that. When I went there, I heard a lot of rumors about Japan. Like they talked about how creepy it was. Like one thing that people hear is that they sell girls' panties in vending machines. I didn't see that. They talked about how many how creepy guys are on the train. I didn't see. I was on the train every single day. There wasn't any creepy stuff like that. And you actually will see it in New York. You'll see people smoking on the train and taking a piss in the corner. But
childless.
Japan is not like that.
Japan. I don't know. I just know that
the birth rate's declining.
Japan leads the world in childless middle-aged women.
It leads the world in childless middle-aged women.
Yeah.
The birth rate is
Japan,
declining because they're overworking themselves right now.
Yeah, Japan.
The work culture is really strong, and that's what happens in an industrialized society. That's just natural.
Yeah, women without children at 50 years old is almost 30%. Isn't that crazy?
That's more. What is it in America?
20%. Or UK. Oh, this one doesn't have America. I'm sorry. This is US is 15 here.
Wow, it's raising a lot too.
Yeah, no, I just wonder why, because I believe you that the women are better there.
They are.
Yeah, like.
Well, better. They're definitely more feminine.
Yeah, so I just wonder like why they're having a lot of the same issues. So you think they're overworked?
Yeah, due to difficulty getting married, a preference not to have children, because they are putting off having children, or due to infertility.
And I met there's a girl on my team from Japan, and she's having the same. I mean, she's here now, but was raised there, and she was like 36 or 37.
I think this happens in first world countries. It goes up and down. Like I think there'll be a boom soon, but it seems like it's a financial problem for the most part. Like these guys are overworked, and they really want it to be perfect for them to start having kids. They want everything. They need to be married, and there's no hookup culture there. So
I went to Japan, when I was younger.
You did?
When I was 12, my mom sent me on a plane to Japan.
By yourself?
Yeah.
Who'd you stay with?
Some friend that she had in high school.
And what was your experience?
Well, they didn't really like me, I'm gonna be honest. When I was 12. Yeah, because I don't think my mom told them that I was coming. I think there was some miscommunication, so I just ended up with this random lady in Japan. But my impression was that the kids worked super hard. Like that they only had like 2 weeks of summer school, I remember. The technology was better, and I hated the food back then, which is a shame because I love Japanese food now. But yeah, I was only 12, so what do you
gotta go back.
What do you really look at when you're 12?
Yeah, it's interesting. That makes me think. That wasn't what I saw. I saw a lot of families, but yeah, there's got to be something to overworking the population like that.
Do you think you see what you want to see?
No,
because I think that liberals see what they want to see, but I also think that like we see what we want to see in a way. Everyone's like worldview influences how they see the world.
But it's also like one thing you won't really see in Japan is dogs. The Japanese people, I saw way more kids than I saw dogs. But in the West, like in Miami a lot, in New York, you'll see way more young people walking around dogs, like even dogs in a stroller, dog in a purse, rather than have kids because they would rather be a dog mom.
How do you date in this modern era? It's so interesting. People that are a little bit like more traditional minded. Do you date in a traditional way?
I'm hypocritical too. We taled about the hypocrisy in the conservative world. Like I just converted to Islam. Like, I have multiple girlfriends, which is haram. You're supposed to wait until marriage. But you have to find ways to navigate the world that's in front of you. Like when the Quran was written, stuff like that, we didn't have woke garbage. We didn't have this indoctrinated world. So you have to pick and choose how to navigate as a man.
I'm not judging you. I'm just wondering. Like,
no. I mean, I'm judging myself because like I'm trying. I would like to be a good Muslim eventually, but I still drink. Yeah. I'm not perfect, but
I told you to go sober with me. Remember? You said you would.
I did?
Yeah, on that stream. Yes. I did a stream with you. Yes. I did a stream with you in Miami, and I said like that you would go sober, and then you told the chat you would go sober with me.
For how long?
It was like a month or something.
Oh, I definitely didn't do that.
Yeah, no, I know. And then it was like 2 days later, you're like, yeah, I can't do that.
Yeah, no, I can't. I can, but
okay.
I quit weed, then, yeah.
I mean, we all have our battles. It's like if I had to quit sugar tomorrow.
I don't even see it as a battle. It's just like I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I just later tonight I'm gonna go out with some of my friends, and it's just makes social situations more enjoyable. But eventually, it could be better. But that's the way I see it to navigate as a man, is to see that your attention and your time is the most valuable thing you have. And women are incentivized to take advantage of your time and attention and to pretty much ruin your life. Like women will destroy men. If you look at any good man, like you'll see how soul crushing it is when they get involved with one woman and who's not elevating you, who's not pushing you forward. So in my opinion, the best way is to have multiple girlfriends and then they pretty much worship you. They're in love with you, and you like the girls I talk to. Like I'll text them like once a day or something like that, and see them maybe once a month, something like that. But they value that time so much that it's worth not seeing other people. And that's the best way I've noticed for it to stay focused. I've tried that investment. I've made mistakes like starting a business with a girlfriend, like getting her like, oh yeah, let's like be a team. Like we're partners. Like what? Like it's never gonna work. It's a waste of your time, and it's better to just have them. They live their life and don't live with them. Don't live with your girlfriend, especially if you're a young man. It's better to keep it separate, to work as much as you can and get to that high level status, because like if I'm here having a struggling in dating, you know, I'm rich, well known, status, all this stuff like that would check all the boxes for women, and it's still like I'm still navigating it. Like imagine what it's like for the average guy. So it's better to focus on becoming as high status and as wealthy as possible, and learning all these social situations and understanding women before you get invested into a long-term relationship in the West. I think it's easier to find a wife in other places, Eastern Europe, places that have culture. But if you're in the West, like, you better just focus on yourself and keep that separate.
Do you want like 10 sons? Are you going to go that route?
I want a big family.
Yeah.
I want a big family. But you always notice that guys like me end up having daughters. Have you noticed that? That's what made me believe in God, is that all the womanizers, just God punishes you with like 7 daughters in a row. And then all the faithful guys, they end up having sons because God's rewarding them. You were good. You can have a couple sons. Good job. You were monogamous. But I think that God will punish me with a couple daughters.
I was thinking my dad was 50-50, so.
So what's your sibling ratio?
Well, 3 were like out of the biological ones. It's 4 girls, 3 boys. And then we adopted.
So he was cheating a little bit.
No.
Maybe in past relationships or something like that.
No, you know what's
karma.
crazy? My parents have only slept with each other.
No way.
Yeah. They met, yeah. They met when my mom was like, they've been together forever.
Well, when did they meet? How old are they?
My mom, sorry, my mom was 18, we'll say.
You're cutting that out. Right?
But he was 5 years older. So, you know, that'd be a groomer nowadays. But no, he was a good guy. And my dad was, he's like a nerd, you know. So, you know, back then, women actually valued the nerds and saw potential in them, you know, where nowadays, like, I don't think women would give my dad a second look, or like men like my dad, because they're not like, you know, on Instagram, a lot of social media, like a smooth talk, like all that stuff. But like, you know, he's a good man, you know.
I don't think women really value social media to that level. It's good to like get in the door to find girls, but I don't think women care. Actually, I don't think women care at all. I think women kind of respect you more if you're more mysterious and you don't have that type of presence and like, who's this guy?
Really? I just see what a check mark does to guys, and like
I have not experienced
status.
that.
Really?
I mean, to be honest, like I've had the check mark.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I have not. It's for me, and they don't talk about this in the rep, but it's been pretty much all about character, how you carry yourself. In my experience, the fame has not really. It does help. It does help. Like if you go to a club and she's like, "Hey, I've seen you before." It's pretty, you know. But when it comes to that first interaction, the blue check doesn't really, never really did much.
I don't know. My point is more, I just think like a lot of times girls overlook like the nerdy guys and prefer like men with like, you know, status. So like, I just think in my mom's situation when she was young, like she valued character first.
What defined him as a nerd?
I don't know. If you met him, I don't know. He's just a nerdy guy.
Gaming? Like what is?
No,
what's a nerd
no, like.
Sports fan? Glasses?
No. He's just an engineer.
Okay. So smart or nerdy?
No, my dad's super smart. He's like.
I don't think those two are the same. I would say a nerd like the 40-year-old guy who still has a bunch of Mario games.
No, he's not like that.
He's my Star Wars collection.
I don't think of it as a bad thing. My dad's just the type of guy to like program for like 10 hours or figure out stuff on his business for like 10, 12 hours.
Yeah, I don't think your mom ever saw him as nerdy. She saw him as ambitious.
Probably.
Yeah, I don't think that's nerdy.
I don't know. But yeah, she told me she liked him because he was fun too. But my point is...
Nerds aren't fun. Nerds aren't fun.
Okay, maybe the nerd is the wrong word.
Yeah. Just a smart guy.
Yeah.
Just not flashy.
Yeah. I just don't think like, I don't know. I think nowadays, I don't think like, You know, you always hear about like women overlooking like certain guys in high school or whatever, and then they like come back later. Like I feel like that's kind of like my dad or like certain, I don't know.
Oh, like that meme where like the girl's sleeping with the bad guy,
Yeah.
and then she's pregnant 5 years later.
Yeah.
Where did all the good guys go? And he's rich now. That was him.
Yeah. I don't know, but I don't want to put my dad on blast.
That was interesting. It's fun to see Pearl's background.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I'm one of 7 kids, and my parents, they well, biological. So I grew up the second of 6. But yeah, and then like they adopted 3 teenagers, so it's kind of crazy backstory.
Where'd they find the teenagers?
One was homeless on my brother's football team, and they took him in. One had an alcoholic mom, they took her in, and then one had abusive parents, and they took him in.
Were they all white?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
What are you saying?
Because I knew some white families that adopted back in high school, and they would adopt like some black people, and it was just funny, you know.
No.
Like I have a black brother. Like, do you? You know.
Like The Blind Side.
Yeah, it was kind of like that. Like, what is this? I don't know. I think that's cooler.
Two were like my second cousins or something. So 2 were related to me, and then one
was a rando.
Yeah, one was just on my brother's football team. It was kind of weird because I came back from college and he was just like there, and I'm like, who's this?
Hey, he's your brother.
Yeah, well, we didn't call him. They just said, this is Chaz, and I was like, oh, hi, Chaz.
So was he ever legally how old was he when he was adopted?
Like 16. So that
he was just crashing at your place.
Yeah, but he still comes to Christmas and stuff now.
Yeah.
Like he still lives at my parents' house.
How old is he?
Like 23.
Oh, you got to get out of there.
Well, he's in school. I don't know. He just found a good family, I guess. He latched on.
He's crashing. You found a good situation.
Yeah. How is stuff with your family? I know things were like kind of rocky the last time we talked.
It wasn't rocky. It was just it's difficult for them. Like I would say my parents seem kind of similar to yours, and so they're always on the internet, like like reading all this stuff, and then like, okay, calm down. Yeah, I recently saw them, and it was great. It was great to hang out with them, and I got to do. I got to show them the fruits of my labor, you know, and it was good to be like, hey, you know, I'm not some bum. Here you go, you know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because I know you didn't go home for Christmas, right?
No.
No. Can I ask you about this? Or
Yeah.
I was just wondering, like, how did you reconcile that?
It's all good now. It's just like the ideological differences was tough to balance, but everything's good now.
Good, I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah, family's the number one important thing. But like my advice for people watching is like just try to separate those political differences and those ideologies. You know, like if you can disagree and still tolerate somebody and still respect their company. I think the past 3 years it became extremely polarizing with COVID and the V word. All this stuff was like people were just like, ah! And just like a lot of time.
And Trump, that's another one.
It's just people did not know how to communicate properly, but yeah, everything's good now.
We got to talk about these reaction channels that bully you. That's what I wanted to bring up.
Bully?
I think they bully you.
I mean, I don't have YouTube, so I don't have the opportunity to defend myself on the same platform. Like when I even get in these types of YouTube drama, people like literally every single streamer, every single one will react to the videos against me, and then I drop my response. Silence.
They never.
It's disingenuous.
Well, and I'm really tired of them throwing this 3-way thing in your face. All right, I'm so tired of that. That's all they ever bring up against.
I mean, that's
you.
all they have. When I told that story, I knew it was an embarrassing story, and I thought of it as as a way to give him something. Would I take it back? Nah, man. I think that gives me more validity as somebody who's speaking all the time, and like why when people call me like a grifter, I'm like, no, I've clearly shown that I'm willing to be vulnerable and honest and tell embarrassing stories.
You know, the first time I interviewed you, when you told me about the 3-way thing, I was like, I honestly thought it was sweet because I was like, oh, he's going to the such extreme lengths to make her happy.
Nah, it was guilt. It was guilt. It was like, it was, you know, but that's never going to be.
Please don't clip that. They're going to clip it.
Nah,
Pearls for it.
That's never going to that I'm never probably going to live down.
No.
That's going to be ammunition forever. But I mean, it used to bother me. It used to get it like, fuck, like these fucking, I was just being honest. It was an embarrassing story, but it's just like, man, fuck it. Like,
because they just throw it, like, you'll be making it just irritates me because you'll be making an argument about A, B, or C, and they'll be like, but the three-way, or whatever it was called, the party.
Swinger party, yeah.
The swinger party. And you'll be like, A, swinger party. And you'll be like, B, and they'll be like, swinger party.
Yeah, it's a good way to deflect from the conversation, but I mean, that's social media.
Yeah, what do you...
It used to, like, it was like, fuck, like, to seeing... But now, if you look at any time I tweet, there's just all these memes of all these cuck memes. It's just people have notifications on just to like different. They Photoshop my face, and I kind of find it funny now. Or like all the big meme accounts on Twitter. Like if I say anything, they'll just. But
I think they bully you. I think they bully Fresh and Fit. I think they
I don't like. Don't use that word bully. They're seeking attention. They're just using our names.
What's wrong with the word bully?
Because bullying implies that it hurts.
Oh, okay.
Or like that it has an effect. Or that bullying is like a guy giving you a wedgie and putting your face in the toilet and giving you a swirly. Like that's, yeah. Are you serious? These people?
That's true.
But this is what they have. Like they don't add anything to the conversation that's new. They don't have anything that they stand for. Their entire persona is just like talking down on other people. They don't have any point of view. So they need us. They need us to exist. That's not bullying. That's a leech, looking to find a clip. Like they're going to do this with this interview. There's going to be something, probably something with the repeal of the 19th, probably something with the Japan thing. There's going to be a video like, Sneako advocates for and then they'll just use that and then get their content. They're eating off of what I'm like me trying to add something new to the conversation. I don't see it as bullying. I just see it as the chain of command.
Can you explain that more?
They don't exist without us.
Yeah, can you break that down?
Their whole thing reacting. They don't have a point of view. They don't stand for anything. They don't believe in anything. They're not trying to seek anything. Like I'll be making a point A, like you said.
Yeah.
Swinger party. Like it's
Yeah.
just reacting to us. It's leeching off of somebody else. It's like riding someone else's coattails. Even though they're saying negative things, you are still riding our coattails because I've seen channels where literally 6 videos in a row, new Sneako thing. It's just nonstop.
You're talking about Abba and Preach.
Not even them. I'm not even talking about them. There's so many of them.
Yeah.
I don't want to give this guy because, like, if you think about it,
I see it. There's a name. It's the edge of your tongue.
You don't even know who this is.
Oh, I don't. Okay.
You probably don't know who this is.
Okay.
But it's really funny to me that I won't say their name, and that they really desperately want. They want it so bad because it would give them something to like, yeah, and then they make a whole video. But I can like hold you. I can just dangle this power. Like, let me just not do it.
Well, they just find something to argue with. Like that's all they're doing is they're looking for just anything that they can argue.
It's not even an argument. It's trying to tarnish your reputation. Because that's what YouTube incentivizes. It incentivizes drama content. YouTube, when I started, and why I want to bring art back and make something new, it used to be like a new creation. People like Niga Higa, like it'd be creative, there'd be something different. YouTube put like crazy montages, new editing styles. YouTube used to be a creative space. And then this algorithm thing started where everybody is trying to get pushing the algorithm so hard. And you need to stay relevant, you need to have a ton of watch time. So it does not incentivize you to make a 5-minute creative video, which is what I was doing. It doesn't push that. It's hard to make money off of that, but everybody wants to make money off of it, want influence, and wants attention. So it's drama content. It's content that you watch for an hour long. Pearl, the deep dive, and that's like a crazy face of you looking like the truth about Pearl, and then it's just this mindless entertainment. People will watch it. Oh, I hate Pearl, and then they see you in public. What do? Hey, Pearl! Wow, the same people that come up to you and take selfies are watching videos of like tarnishing reputation because it makes them feel better about being failures. It makes them feel better about not doing anything. They see somebody who's doing something, who's saying something new, who's trying to push the conversation forward, making money, out here making their own content, and they need to feel justified that they're not doing it. So that's what it pushes now. It pushes drama content. YouTube, it's just bad documentaries. It's shitting on people. There's not a lot of creative people. So when those people come along, when somebody with a voice comes along, everybody's there trying to pull you and trying to get a piece of the pie because, like, why risk your reputation? Why risk telling a story, risk being authentic, telling an embarrassing story, when you can protect your own reputation. You know, you could just be this like faceless person and all you do is criticize. It's better to do that. You'll make more money, you'll get more views. Will you have fans? No. Are you gonna add anything new? No. But you'll make more money. And so, like, can you blame them? I don't blame them. I mean, if I had nothing to add, if I didn't want to risk, you know, putting my reputation on the line, I'd probably do the same type of videos.
You're like inspiring me a little bit right now.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I'm like,
it goes back
I feel like what I like about you is you're so unafraid to like tell, like even the freaking three-way story. I would die with that secret that happened to me. Like
I'm a completely authentic person.
Yeah,
I think people value that. That's like why I will have longevity. And while even though I'm banned, I'm still generating so many views for these people on a platform that I'm banned on because I'm actively seeking truth through funny. Like people see me as somebody malleable, somebody that's actively thinking, engaging in conversations. And that's rare because everybody needs to act like they know everything. Even the reaction channels, they put themselves on a moral high ground. Like, look at these red pillars, because they don't want to risk changing their worldview. There's not a lot of people on the platform, on social media, who are like coming with the like, oh, let me just try to find things out. You come in with an angle of curiosity, which is rare because people don't want to, like even right now, like you mess up the word assimilate and immigrate and you're like, oh, that was dumb. But people don't ever want to put themselves in that situation because they need to seem like they know everything. Well, and it's disingenuous. Well, humans are always learning.
Even the stream we did, it was like me, you, and Destiny. And I'll just be like, yeah, I'm dumb. But I don't mean it. But it's just like, I hate it when people act like they know everything. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm an idiot, now what? You know? But then it's like hard because the reaction channel's like...
We'll clip that and say, yeah.
Yeah, and they clip freaking everything. And I feel like I've been on longer, I get more like nervous to tell stories or whatever because I'm just... like they've just started to like clip me and put things together in a way to like say things that I didn't say. And so it's actually like inspiring to talk to you because you don't give a fuck.
You just have to let them, because that's the chain of command. Like you're growing something, they're taking their little nibbles. It's like a mosquito or like a little worm in an apple, like getting their piece, getting their food. People don't like, but have you ever encountered a hater in real life? Like I get maybe someone in public, like you call them but like someone who'd be like, I hate you, Pearl.
Like once or two, not much. What
was it?
I was recruiting at a Chris Brown concert. So we were recruiting like girls for the show, and there's, I mean, it wasn't anything crazy. She was just like, oh, not you. And I was like,
but you came up to her first.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's like, oh, I know who you like.
But nobody has approached you.
No,
and say, okay, that's what I mean. Like these people, it's not. I understand like when you're in the space and you see these videos, you want to protect your image and your reputation, but that's the nature of the game. That's how they silence people who are trying to add something new to the conversation. That is, they try to grow out your reputation because they have nothing else.
Even the Nick interview I did, like that was honestly it's going up. Yeah, it's gonna go up. It was one of my favorite videos I've done because I just learned so much in it. And I know they're gonna clip this and like do whatever with it, but like genuinely, I think he was a nice guy.
You can't be afraid of them because then it steers away from us having a conversation right now.
Yeah.
And then now we're thinking about how they're gonna go.
And that's what I realized that like. I'm trying to not let them, but it's hard because it's like you'll start talking and you'll hear how they'll pull the it's so funny because you'll start to hear it in your head how they're gonna pull clips and you're like, oh no. Even though I was
thinking that
even when I was talking to you about my dad, I'm like, I don't want to say anything that they're gonna clip and make my dad look bad, because it's like I love my
same thing when you ask about like the Christmas thing. I'm like, oh, there we go, there's gonna be
I mean, we can cut it.
No, you can keep it in,
but like
my way of approaching this and advice for people watching is just approach it. If you have a pure heart and if you're a genuine person, you have nothing to fear. Like they'll try to tarnish your reputation, but one of the big turning points I saw was working with Mr. Beast, like 2017, 2018. I remember when I met these guys, Chris especially, the guy, they were shooting AK-47s. They had guns in their thumbnails. They were making edgy jokes. They're like, oh, I identify as an attack helicopter. I'm 30 genders. They're making like edgy jokes. And then Mr. Beast is business-minded. He wants to be #1 YouTuber. So you don't want to give him any ammunition. Let me not give the woke mob anything to take me down for. I'm going to be as unproblematic as possible. He stopped cursing. then he takes guns out of the thumb. Imagine a Mr. Beast video with an AK-47. Now it's just like Orbeez and pool balls. But when I was working, that's what it was. I remember I had this joke. We were like building a mansion fort with boxes, and I was making jokes about Trump building a wall, stuff like that. He would never see that joke now. They even had like masculine guys when I was working. They fired them all, and you replace them with like fruity guys. Don't say that disrespectfully, but that's who's on the cast now. And so when Chris was working, like when I met him, he was like saying some jokes, saying some misogyny. He was just like a Southern guy driving the truck with the hat. I remember this guy. I spent a lot of time with him. And then seeing him now is the result of what happens when you're afraid of the woke mob. When you let them win, when you are afraid of criticism, when you live for the social media algorithm, you will become the social media algorithm.
How do you get such thick skin? Because, like, I felt like I had thick skin in the beginning, but I just feel like the longer I'm on, it's, like, hard. I don't know how you do it.
You're a girl, too.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's going to naturally be harder. I mean, yeah, it's a lot.
It had to have bothered you at some point, right? Or never?
But this is what I do is I just show, I see it as free press. I'm giving away the sauce right now.
Yeah.
But how did Trump win the election in 2016?
Oh, his media coverage. He would say things to like trigger the media.
And it worked. And they would talk about him nonstop, but Trump was completely dead set on his philosophy. He loves America. And so no matter what they say, he's going to connect with the real people. Mainstream news tried to lie about him, Russian misinformation. He's a misogynist. He grabbed her by the whatever. They try to lie about him, but the people can see through that. I see all the reaction channels as the CNN of YouTube. They're just trying to, it's pretty much the same thing. Like, look at what Pearl said today. New clip, new this. And then people, you know, the people will watch it for entertainment, but they don't really believe it. So I'm banned and they can't stop talking about me. Am I living genuine to what I believe in? Am I traveling the world? Am I living a good life? Am I training every single day? Am I meeting incredible people all over the world? Am I happy? Yeah. So all this stuff is just people talking about my name nonstop. Kind of found a hack in the system because I'm supposed to be silenced. I'm off of YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, and they can't stop talking about me. So as long as I do not let them affect me, and if I don't go down and stoop to their level, I'm winning. I'm just getting free press. It depends on how you react to it. So when you get all this cancellation type stuff and when they try the drama content, they will look at you under a microscope. And as long as you're living genuine to what you believe in, then you're gonna get more fans. People are gonna respect you more. The way that I get around that is paying close attention to how they're really looking at your reaction to all this. And if you can beat them, then you will have longevity longer than they will.
You're inspiring me a little bit. I'm like, maybe we should make more original content and less reactions.
Yeah, I think conversations are good, and this is why, like, you know, the hypocrisy, like I blew up a lot doing streams reacting to stuff. Of course, I try to add my own spin on it, add my own comedy, but you know, how different is it than the other content? So, but I want to separate myself from that. I want to really ascend to the next level because I don't want to be in this echo chamber of like, oh, this is forever. It's garbage.
So, what projects do you have coming up?
I don't have any projects coming up.
None?
I mean, I have interviews lined up and going to continue traveling the world, but the way that I create is a lot of time through traveling and new experiences, being around different people. It comes organically. I don't like planning things out. I find when I plan it out too much, then it takes away that curiosity and that fun aspect. It needs to be fun. Like if it ever feels like a chore, if it feels like work, that's when I notice the artistic aspect is taken away. But if I'm really passionate about it, then that's when I create something different.
Tell me about, you had a tweet, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was about Japan, and it was like about it being a very similar society. It was something with race mixing.
I don't remember what I said exactly, but Japan is, and I guess some of these stats of the birth rate and stuff like that, like they, you know, it could be higher right now, but the way that it's run and the way that the people act and treat each other is pretty much the America that Nick Fuentes wants. Low immigration, homogenous society, conservative, everybody votes for the same party. You know that there's no like culture war in Japan. It's exhausting coming back because you realize like how polarized, people can't even decide on a gender. And then over there, everybody votes for the same party. They believe in the same thing. They just want to work and enjoy food, have fun. They want to live a good life. So they all vote for the same. It's been the same party for like 50 years in Japan. So that's pretty much like the America that Nick Fuentes wants. And I see that as the only solution. I don't see this, like every 4 years someone else, we put the president in jail. I don't see that any longevity in the West if we keep it like that. I think that you actually need, to some extent, I think you need a dictator to save America. The way Putin's been in charge of Russia for like 20 years, that's the only way to, and a lot of Russia, most of Russia is pretty happy with Putin. They like him. There was like some controversy for a couple years, but they like the way that he's running it. The two-party system, it's just, there's too much infighting, and it makes everybody.
How do they do it? It's one party?
Where, in Japan?
In Russia, I don't.
In Russia, it's been Putin's the dictator, and he's been the president.
Are you for dictatorships?
I'm not. I wouldn't say, like I'm not pro dictator.
Clip it. Sorry,
no, I'm not pro dictator, but it's working in Russia.
Right.
Though, I mean,
how is it working?
They hold on to their Christian values.
Okay.
And they're stomping.
I gotta tell you something. When I saw that arms dealer that they let out, you know what I'm talking about? I watched this interview with him, and I'm like, is he based?
Is he?
Yeah, there's a video, and he's talking about how America's not the same America anymore. They've lost their values. And I was like, this arms dealer that's like supposed to be horrible sounded
based.
Yeah.
You know who's really based? And I recommend people like actually read his manifesto.
And it's like.
And then you get somebody who's speaking a message of truth, and we put them in jail for 3 months without any charges. And anybody who's still saying like, oh, they're traffickers, they're human traffickers. Look, do you want to live in how do you want to live in a society where under the suspicion of a crime, you can go to jail for 3 months while they go and search for evidence? That alone is such a very obvious idea, very blatant corruption. And ultimately, and people turn their head about it, and they still like, well, he's bald. What is wrong with you? There's no evidence of anything. They're looking for the evidence so that you can be put in jail to look for evidence for 3 months.
Do you get nervous that'll happen to you?
No.
No?
Wow. I don't live in fear. I don't live in, but that's what happens at a certain level of influence. They need to do something about it. Same thing happened to Trump right now.
So for people that don't know, like we're talking about Andrew Tate. So when did your friendship start with him?
I mean, I went to Bucharest in November. I would say I'm a little bit closer with Tristan than Andrew. But yeah, I mean, they saw my content, stuff like that. And I talked to Tristan on stream a couple times, and we get along. And then we hung out in Bucharest. And then, we were planning, like right before they got locked up, we were planning a stream, but it's a little bit difficult now.
And were all these women just having a horrible time just being when you were there? It
was just like really eye-opening, because that was the perfect example how you see one narrative pushed on social media, and then you see it in real life, and it's just very obviously not true. And you see how many people believe in a lie. And I understand, like, some people are still trying to argue it, like, well, they actually, this is source. You, point blank period, you should not be put in jail under the suspicion of a crime. Like, imagine, like, all these people that are criticizing them, they do drugs, right? That's a crime. Should you be put in jail while the police search your apartment for drugs and then they find it? Is that a society you want to live in? Like, well, I am committing okay, if you actually are committing a crime, then right now you should be put in jail and wait till they find the weed in your apartment. Make it fair. If you think that these people should be put in jail while they go and search for something that doesn't exist.
Well, and why don't people believe the people that were actually there? Because you actually went to his mansion, right?
Yeah.
And there were so many people that actually went to his mansion and said, no, the women are good. Like, why don't people believe you guys? Because
our worldview trumps their entire worldview. Like, if we are right, then their existence and their entire ideology makes no sense. So they don't actually think that these people are evil. They don't think Andrew and Tristan are evil. But them existing just corrupts their everything they talk about, corrupts their philosophy. So they need them to be silenced. It makes them feel better. It's cope. They need them to be bad people so that they can feel better about what they're talking about. They know that they're not. Nobody actually thinks that they're guilty of anything. That even the people, I don't want to say their names anymore but they know that they're innocent.
We all know.
They know they're innocent.
Yeah.
But they need them to be in jail so that they can keep on streaming on Twitch.
Yeah, and I think it's a shame because it's just like, if that can happen to Andrew, a guy with...
It's going to happen to you too.
That could happen to anyone.
It can happen. And it's been close with a lot of people that are still hating and accusing. It's a giant warning sign for men, and still people actively turn their head to it and act like this is not possible. Like, oh, some women will accuse you and you could be put in jail while they go and look for the evidence of it. That is a crazy world to live in. And I'm saying that now, and it's very possible that it could happen to me. It's not an unrealistic thing to talk about, that they could just put me in jail because some girl said something without any evidence.
Well, thank you so much for coming today.
Thanks for having me on. We left on a dark tone, but it's a warning sign. This is what I want to say. You want to move to Chicago? I'm saying for anybody watching, I think it's best to make as much money as possible, to start an online business, and then be able to go to different places so that you're not trapped, so that you're not under constant surveillance, or you're not under constant threat of somebody ruining your life because they are telling you that men are evil. And I care about women equally as I care about men. Like, we talk about, because women will be happier if they're in their feminine state, raising children and at staying home.
Yeah, tell me, where should I move? What should I do with my life?
I don't know yet.
What should I do with my life, Sneako?
I don't know. That's why I'm going to continue traveling the world, training, working hard, meeting people.
Can you give me spark notes after your, let me know.
After my travels?
Yeah.
Well, I'm about to go to South America, and then I'm going to Eastern Europe in a couple of days. So I'm going to continue seeing the world and then figure that out. But if you are critically analyzing the chessboard, there is absolutely no real reason to stay in the West other than my family's there.
Yeah.
That's it. Culturally, no. Family-wise, no. Quality of life, no. Taxes, like...
Do you think... Okay, because my one question is, you don't think that, like, when you have... Because my family's pretty, like, well off, so you don't think it's a bit of a bubble when you have money in the West?
A bubble for you?
Because it's like, even, okay, yeah, Chicago's bad, but we live on 40 acres in the
I don't think you should care. Like, that's like the white guilt. Like, when you say that, like, oh, should I live shitty with people in Chicago because I have money? Like,
no, I just meant, like, my parents built, like... So my parents have a 10-bedroom house, and they bought a whole neighborhood for me and my siblings to, like, live in. You know? And so it's like, that's where, I don't know, that's where everyone's from. That's where everyone I know is.
So why is it bad to live in a bubble?
No, it's not. So that's why I was saying, like, even if you stay in the West, like, isn't it different if you have money?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But you're going to have a harder time. Like, the average person watching this is not going to have that scenario. So.
Right. No, but you said that to me. Why would I go to Chicago?
Oh, yeah. There you go. Yeah, you can. And you're not going to be put in jail for some men falsely accusing you. You're just going to get some hit pieces from nerds. From some reaction nerds. That's it.
And they're like twice my age,
they're
some of them.
Old. A lot of them, yeah. All the people making videos about us are much older than us. It's very funny.
Can you imagine being like in your mid-40s talking about a bunch of 20-year-olds?
Like doing research, like, look at this clip I found of this guy half my age. Like, bro, what? Yeah. Like, people really watch this?
I'm like, you guys are so grown. How are you still doing this?
I have empathy for them. Like, this is their life. Like, I don't want to be that at that age. I want to be out of here. I want to be doing much bigger things than that. So, hey, man, I genuinely, you call it bullying. I genuinely look at it with empathy. Like, this is your livelihood. You need me. You need Pearl. Without, what are you going to talk about without it? So just let them have it. Genuinely, like, next time they do it, you should be, aw. Look at,
I needed this everyone here needed this.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's just been a crazy, like, oh my gosh.
I'm a colonizer. Crazy. Oh, that's so cute. Oh, you think I'm, silly reaction channel. You I love you.
Well, you know what's crazy? It's like the same people that would say they were so worried about the people that work here, we're calling them slaves.
which is more racist than anything. Like to even bring slavery into this while people are like enjoying life and working, making money. It's just you little wokey. Let him have it.
What do you believe in?
Can you specify that a little bit?
You always say that the reaction channels don't stand for anything. They don't believe in anything. So what do you believe in? What do you stand for?
I believe in, well, I'm trying to be a better Muslim and believe in God more. Mm-hmm. And I believe in creation. I think I outlined it on this podcast. I think that men are at their happiest when we are creating. When we are creating something new, or if you create a business, or if you use, for me, it's creating art. Adding something to the world, creating life, starting a family. That's where we derive our happiness from. And these people, they're not really creating, they're just responding. And so I don't think that's a happy existence. I think that just like being someone, a talking head, I don't like this. I don't see that as a happy existence, just trying to bring other people down. I believe in progress. I believe in like always moving forward. Never, if you stay stagnant, that's where I get uncomfortable. I need to constantly be evolving, growing, becoming better. And that's how I think society functions. If you have men leading, going forward, and other people follow suit. But social media provides a place where instead of following the people that are strongest and that are in charge, and I'm not saying I'm that guy, but instead of following those people and letting them lead, their existence is just criticizing them and bringing them down, because you get, digital points and money from that. So, but we need men to lead society and everybody else to follow. Women should be the ones nurturing and raising the family and be that spiritual balance that's necessary for the world to function. But we're in this very confused place where we're not sure who's who, what we should be doing. Right now, we're seeing the perfect example of hard times create strong men, and this is where good times create weak men, because we've had it easy for the past 20, 30 something years in the West, and we're seeing it fall apart when weak men are in charge. So I believe in growth. I think if you're not constantly growing, then you're stagnant, and when you're staying still, you're unhappy, and nothing is going to be good.
Well, thank you for coming, Sneako. Tell them where they can find you.
Rumble.com/Sneako, @Sneako on Twitter, and
you're back on Twitter.
Back on Twitter. Thank you, Elon. Elon's doing great things.
Yeah, he is.
I really like how he's calling out the fake news media. And Elon is red-pilled. He definitely is. He sees through the garbage.
Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And you can always tell who kind of sees it. You know what I mean?
A lot of people do see it, and they choose not to cope.
Yeah.
But, yeah, shout out to Elon Musk. So, yeah, follow me on Twitter, and also thecreativitykit.com. That's I host a call once a week, teaching people how to make money online, especially through content creation. If you have any questions one-on-one, you could ask me there. And I'll talk to you directly. It's $50 a month, and we have professors every single day doing calls. Okay,
guys, like the video on your way out. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure you go follow Sneako on Rumble. He's literally one of the most entertaining content creators on the internet. And like the video on your way out. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll talk to you guys next time.